Hello, friends, and hello, French Canadians, and welcome back to another instalment of Sunday Cinematic Service, where we explore the weird and wonderful realm of religious cinema. And today, instead of stopping at home, watching a DVD or sort of some obscure video on YouTube from a comfort of our home, we ventured out into the masses. We ventured out to the cinema to check out the latest release in the ever so popular Conjuring cinematic universe with the film The Nun. We thought, well, it's a new horror film. It's got a nun in it. I guess it'll work for the show. And I'm quite curious on where this episode is going to go in terms of discussing the religious aspects. I mean, there's a huge part, but we'll need to talk about what we actually thought about the film. So, starting off with you, Marcus, what did you think of The Nun?
The films we've covered before, they've been classics or bad films, the old ones, the first modern one, yeah. So we had to venture to the filthy underground of the centre of Leeds to see it. It's garbage, obviously, just complete unrescuable garbage. Like every film people like, unlike Bergman or those are the only good films ever made,
I like it.
Yeah. I will say though, it wasn't as boring as I thought it was going to be. So my expectation was that I've never seen the Conjuring films. I've never seen a James Wan film, who I know directs that, and Saw, and some of the Fast and Furious films. I may have seen I've seen one Fast and Furious, but anyway. So I've never seen that. I've looked at this and I thought, this is going to be 90 minutes to 2 hours of people walking around saying like boring things, and then a jump scare is going to happen every 20 minutes, and there'll be no humour in it at all, and it'll be cheap and awful. There was a time where me and my mate went to Paranormal Activity 3, and that's put me off seeing popular horror films forevermore. But this film is slightly weirder and more... Well, it's got a lot of tonal problems that we'll probably get into that make it really interesting to watch. Even though it is completely awful, I think it's probably not as bad as people think, and it has got just enough to keep people interested for the whole 90 minutes. And we'll get into some of the specific stuff later, but Heath, what did you think?
I really liked this film. It was a great comedy.
I'm sure that's what the filmmakers intended.
It actually looks really good, I think, as a film. I agree, yes. There's the camera movement and that sort of thing, and some of the shots, like the shot where she's praying and there's the nuns around her, and the camera's sort of hovering over the top. That's really I was like, that looks really good. That's a good shot and that sort of thing. This film is let down so much by the script, by the dialogue in it. It's just, a lot of it is just laughable, and we were laughing.
for most of the duration, I'd say, probably, yeah.
I feel like the people who were, like, down the row from us weren't well impressed with our...
I hated... Well, Tommy was having a good time, but then part of me was hating being that guy.
Yeah, we were those guys.
We were those guys in this particular screening. I feel pretty much exactly the same, though I fell asleep for about 15 minutes. I enjoyed it. As I agree with what Marcus was saying, compared to a Paranormal Activity where no effort is put into making those films, for a studio-made horror film, you can tell that they put the effort in. The problem was the script wasn't there. Now, the biggest thing that held it back for me is that I've seen none of the Conjuring movies.
Neither have I.
Which I'm assuming, from what I can gather, is that the titular nun is a character who was featured in the previous Conjuring film?
Yeah, as far as I'm aware, she's one of the manifestations of the demon that shows up in each of the films. So... At the end, you've got the two people giving the lecture.
Oh, okay.
They're like the main characters of the Conjuring films. They're like this husband and wife duo that investigate paranormal activity and all that sort of business. So it's sort of tying it all back into the same thing. But yeah, this nun is essentially just one of the manifestations of this demon. That has been in other films, and obviously people were like, oh yeah, that's really cool. So they're like, well, we'll shit out a movie about her.
Yeah, I think as with like your Paranormal Activities, the studios, they know they can make them cheap, and they know they can make a nice little return off of them. And the thing with the impression I get with the Conjuring films is that a little bit more time is put into them, like actual effort is put into these movies. And the studio can't really release a Conjuring film every year. Thus, you've got, the spin-offs, you've got The Nun. I was reading the director said that if The Nun's a success, which I was reading about the box office weekend, and apparently it's been like the biggest. It's been quite big. It's been quite big, on its initial release. But they'll make a Nun 2. Yeah, that's where we get Annabelle from. Yeah, Annabelle Creation, or Annabelle Retribution.
No, it was Creation.
Resurrection, Retribution. I don't know.
But they're all future. Annabelle movies.
Yeah, they're already written. They're already gone into production. So as my first Conjuring film, and as far as blockbuster horror films go, it was all right. It was fine. I didn't hate it. Like, I had a good time with it. Ultimately.
Yeah, I don't regret spending the £5 to go see it. Like
£5 well spent. Definitely.
Yeah, if it was like a full price ticket.
If it was like £10,
I'd be a bit irked, but £5, it's definitely worth it.
And we laughed so much doing this. Like, should we go through some of the? So, some people going, laughing? Isn't this a horror film? So the film's not scary once, I don't think. Did you genuinely jump, or were you scared at all?
No. I was literally counting down to the jump scares on my hand, like it's going to be 5, 4, 3, 2, boom. Does that terrible sound? And, but no, I was not scared once.
No, I don't understand how anyone could be. Like, the things are so lame as well. Like, me and you were just laughing so hard when there's a bit where, like, a crucifix, it turns slowly until it's upside down.
And then it sets on fire.
Yeah.
The thing with that and all is that in the end of it, it's showing that so spoiler alert for this film, the Frenchman, French-Canadian man.
Frenchie.
My favourite character in the film. He becomes possessed in the end, and the upside down crucifix is there on him. And I'm like, hold on, if you've been watching these, is that a recurring motif then?
I don't know.
Because surely that spoils the idea of it being like at all scary because there's no suspense to it.
Where this actually comes from is a film that we all love, The Exorcist.
Great film.
This is the crosses turning upside down was the first time that appeared in a film.
Yes.
Yeah.
And everyone has been using it ever since.
Yeah, it's a universal shorthand for like
exactly.
Kind of thing.
And now it's just been used so much it is laughable now when you see it in horrors and that sort of thing.
Yeah, any attempts at scares in this film fail so miserably just because like they're either cartoonishly over the top, like the nun, you can't see her face.
Oh yeah, all nuns, yeah.
And there's no sort of suspense. Like, so The Exorcist, what's that got? It's got a grounded, realistic story of a mother having to deal with like a child who's ill. Anyone can relate to that, and then it builds the supernatural stuff on top of that, or a crisis of faith, also in The Exorcist. There's just nothing here to grab hold of apart from how laughable it is.
Yeah, no, definitely not. I mean, to be fair on the film, one of the things that I did kind of appreciate was the kind of the art design behind it. It felt like a universal horror movie from the 1940s.
Yeah,
it was like gothic horror. It was like really cool. That's what I liked about it. It was just like there was so much sort of atmosphere and that in it, and then an actor would open their mouth and say something, and it's just like gone.
It really ruined it.
Yeah.
But like the whole thing of them, maybe have to go to this almost like a castle on the periphery of the countryside in the middle of nowhere. It did really remind me of the opening of Dracula, where they've got to take like a horse and carriage route, a really dangerous route to get to this faraway castle in the middle of nowhere that no one can really go to, and even set in Romania as well. Actually, weirdly enough, I don't know if that was intentional, but maybe they're fans of Bram Stoker. But no, I appreciate that. It was nice seeing a spooky haunted castle movie again, which we've not had a spooky haunted castle film in like forever, and in a big budget movie as well. I'm not saying that the film's good or anything, but it's a thing that I definitely appreciated.
Well, it's quite telling for mainstream horror. Like, you can recommend about this the fact they actually, took some effort in composing the shots.
Yes.
Like, how many found footage horror films get released now? You got Paranormal. There's one. Heath, were you saying this is supposed to be quite decent? Searching. The Cal Penn one where he tries to find his daughter and it's all done in Facebook.
Oh,
Yeah, no, I've heard it's good. I haven't said that to you.
No,
though.
are you saying that you'd heard it's good?
Yeah.
I've seen the original. The original is it Rec? Like the first,
Rec, yeah.
Rec's like the original Spanish one. Like that. That's really good, right? It's because it was like it was revolutionary at the time.
Yeah.
But it's so easy, as I was saying earlier, for them just to do a Paranormal Activity style, just no effort in terms of the compositions or. The big problem is that audiences are conditioned to think that a scary film means how many jump scares you can get in.
Yeah.
If a film makes you jump out of your skin, then that is a scare. While a gothic horror film shouldn't be like that. Like one of my all-time favorite films is The Innocents from like early '60s. It's brilliant. I think it's an adaptation of the Taming of the Shrew. The Screw.
Let's say the Screw. The
Shrew.
It's Shrew.
Yeah, it's I'm not remember, but it's an adaptation of that, and there's no jump scares, but it's very similar. That it is it's a gothic horror film. It's very slow burning, and it gets under your skin. The Nun could have been so close to that. Like if it just eliminated all the shit jump scares.
If they had have just done another, like, I don't like even the shit jump scares, fine, whatever. But had they just done another pass on the script, like just one more draft, and I reckon it would have gotten them there, because like, well, it's the you're in for a bad time when the first piece. Well, no, it's not the first piece, but like the next scene after the opening where the nuns die is the two priests walking along, and he's like, well, you haven't been to the Vatican in 5 years. That's because I've been And it's like, oh god.
Exposition
you don't even need. Like, wouldn't it have changed your understanding of the film if you weren't like, oh, he's been discommunicated for 5 years or whatever it is? Like,
I actually think the film would have been stronger if it didn't open with that pre-credit tease. Like, it could have opened literally just with that guy, like, and you start off with Frenchie through the wilderness, and he just finds this, like, hung nun. Is that hung nun? Nun. That's quite hard to say.
Well, they flashback it in its entirety as well,
exactly,
like later on.
Don't they? Yeah. It would have been much more interesting if a film like, oh, this is an unexpected way to open the film, and this guy finds this just dead nun, and you're like, oh, how do we get to this point? But no, because the film needs to open up with, like, as I say, like a cheap jump scare build,
Yeah, well, and considering as well, you had, little psychic nun lady, whatever her name was, Sally. Let's call her Sally. Like, you could have actually, had those scenes as well. Her sort of, getting those scenes like of what happened at the start.
Yeah.
As they're going through it, and like you piece together what's going on rather than so they've let out some sort of demonic presence in the thing. Okay, we know what's going on. Yeah. Away we go.
All the tensions dissipated. Yeah. And it's not done in an effective way. And I'm sorry to keep harping on about this film whenever I'm in for you guys, but it's not like in The Witch, where like...
We'll get to it, man.
I'm sorry, I love it. It's one of my favourites. But in The Witch, a lot of people criticise it because they do reveal the hand a bit too soon, but there is like a demonic witch like manipulating this family. But for me, that just adds to the ticking time bomb element. Yeah, it's like you are aware of what's going on. People are like, oh, you should have saved that until later. But for me, it just adds a layer of like like with Hitchcock and seeing like a ticking time bomb underneath the table.
Yeah.
It adds to that element. So the nun could have maybe done something like that, or just not done that element. So,
and another thing in its favour. No CGI blood, it seemed like. I couldn't tell any,
Yeah.
It gets the meat and potatoes stuff of horror well, in a way that, like, it's sad to say is a distinction with most horror films.
That's so true, yeah.
Like, that Paranormal Activity 3 was so brutal, the watching of that. Because that is literally something where you put the camera down, and it's just like, oh, something may happen in the frame, or maybe it won't. And then that's all it is. There's no characters... Like, like, the characters in this aren't good by any stretch of the imagination, but there's some attempts to give them a bit of life and character.
They've got something, yeah. Like, you've got Sally, who's a slightly more, like, progressive nun, She's not been like, what's the term he used when she becomes like a full nun? I can't remember what the term is.
Yeah, she's not confirmed.
Not confirmed, yeah.
My sister Irene is her name, by the way.
Oh, right.
Irene. Oh yeah, that's right. There's that bit. I thought when I was watching it where Frenchie is like banging on the door and he like screams out Irene and his voice breaks, and I'm like, could have probably done another take on that, like.
You're allowed to do these things, guys. You can't stop and take a break.
Exactly.
You take a break, give your actor some water.
Yeah.
You know.
And there's actual like setups and payoffs as well.
Yeah.
Like with the newspaper, I know it's lame as hell. Where like he's got his newspaper, and then later on it gives him a clue to with the deliveries thing, and it does the thing really well. It sets up the geography of like what this what the You're gonna laugh at me for not. What's the thing called? Castle place.
Yeah, castle.
The castle place.
Fine, yeah.
The castle. Yeah. It shows you it before all this stuff actually happens, so you sort of know what's happening later, where you are in the scenes and stuff.
I was thinking about as well. It does make really good use of like space, which again, not many modern blockbuster horror films do that. You know, like you always understand pretty much where the characters are in relation to the setting.
Yeah.
Which, again, meat and potato things, but so rare in blockbuster horror cinema.
Yeah. So this was directed by Corin Hardy, and. I think he's probably someone that we should probably like keep an eye out for in the future, because I think he's only done a couple of other things before this.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think he's just been given a really shit script and probably made the best movie that he possibly could with what he was given.
Well, it was like the director for the Annabelle Requiem
creation.
But the director of that film as well. You know, he made like kind of small, quite good little YouTube shorts. We gave him a full film and it didn't quite work out. And then we just lump him with Annabelle Creation. I got it right.
Yeah.
It lumped him with Annabelle Creation. And it's like, you know, it's always a shame when you see these kind of like talented filmmakers kind of been sucked into... It's good in a way because it gives them exposure. But then it's like, how are they going to get out? You know what I mean? Like, can they break free now they've had their exposure?
You know, like, if I was him, I wouldn't be particularly upset with this film.
No,
I don't think anything that he's done in it is
bad or anything.
Bad.
No.
Yeah,
he's done his job.
Yeah,
definitely done.
I don't need like even the actors are really good in it, and the way there's nothing in it that's sort of unbelievable or any of their acting choices were bad. Except for the guy at the bar, but we'll get into that later.
Oh yeah,
yeah. Yeah, it is. I think it's good. One of the things that really fucking irritated me though about it was, like, just the sheer idiocy of the characters in it. Like, there's a creepy nun walking out there. Let's go investigate that. It's like, no. And then it gets to the point, like at the end, like they've done this about 10 times before, followed some sort of weirdness, and it's ended badly. And then they just keep doing it. And you're like, why do you keep doing this?
It's like watching flies going towards like a lamp, you know what I mean? Like constantly going back for more. You know, it's...
well, that's sort of supposed to be the thing you can indicate what's dumb and what's smart horror. Like, because the dumb one, it's like, well, why don't they just leave? Like, in this, you could say, like, why don't they just walk away when they realise how just dangerous it is? Like, at the point where you've been buried alive, surely you must think, like, oh, now I'll leave and not come back.
Or let's wait until daytime.
Yeah.
If we have to stop and investigate, let's just sleep it out.
Let's go to the town during the night and let's come back during the day.
We'll get a few drinks down us, so we'll sleep soundly and But no, but that's all I can think as well. Like, just wait till morning. That should be fine.
But yeah, smart one would have given them some reason to do it or done something a little bit clever or like.
Yeah.
I mean, no one was going into this thinking, this is the new Exorcist. Or like, I was going in like, this may be the next Don't Look Now. Like,
maybe this is this is why I'm sort of praising it so much, is that I probably went in with really low expectations and was delivered a fairly decent movie. Like, it's not great by any stretch of the imagination, but. It kept me engaged. You fell asleep for a bit. I don't know how. It was so exciting.
Well, I was out last night.
Okay.
I was in Manchester last night.
As were we.
Oh, yeah.
Not together.
Not
but
in
we both
Manchester.
went
in
into.
Manchester, yeah.
So we're all very hungover.
Yeah, I was pretty hungover. I just got the coach in. It took about 2 hours to get here.
Yeah.
I was pretty sleepy.
Yeah.
Even though I was enjoying the film ultimately. So no, it was a genuine nice little surprise. Because I was really, again, we were talking about Rotten Tomatoes before recording this, and I know it's not really a barometer you should pay attention, but I must admit, I saw 26%, and I was like, ooh, okay, this will be an interesting afternoon then. But it's a mixed bag, in it, and a positive mixed bag.
Yeah, I don't think I can see why it would get 26%. Like, if it is, there are big problems with this film.
Yeah, huge problems.
Yeah, but again, as I said, they're all in the script. They're all in the dialogue. It's not.
But again, no. What would you rather watch? This, which was just a laugh riot the whole way through, or something generic like, I don't know, Ant-Man and the Wasp or something? Which, like, I bet that's at 80% on Rotten Tomatoes, and I bet that is just something you just walk out of and never think about ever again.
To be honest, I'll probably never think about the Nun ever again, but...
but I mean, at least, you know what I mean? Like,
Ultimately,
you can ridicule it with friends and things.
Yes,
and
exactly. I imagine lines from this film are going to come up in our future conversation, without a doubt.
Maybe, who wants to do the best line in the film?
I'll be the barman. Let's do the scene. Let's recreate the scene.
Oh god, I can barely remember what he said though.
So you're Frenchy.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oui.
Well.
Yeah.
That's even better than his accent in the film.
Who was that couple that you took up to the castle?
Just some people investigating the murder of the person I found.
You found a dead body up there?
Just a young nun, one person.
But when you go back up there will be two.
That was an exclusive scene, folks, from the new hit film The Nun.
We were paraphrasing. If you
and the French, Marcus's French accent was definitely better than whatever accent this poor actor was doing in that film.
Who is from fucking Belgium?
Belgium,
I think his failing was that he probably should have just spoke like he normally would, but I think he was trying to do like a Canadian accent on top of his accent, which is where it all fell apart.
Well, shall we do the actual best line in the film as well? Okay, so the nun pins Frenchie against the wall.
This is at the exciting conclusion.
Conclusion. So I'll be Frenchie. What did the person say? Who wants to be the evil nun? Well, you're already a bartender. You can't be too evil.
What did the nun say? Like, you will die now, Frenchman.
French Canadian.
But he proceeds to shove some holy water in her fucking face. And, it was a beautiful moment, and we were laughing to the ire of the whole cinema.
Yeah,
it was a beautiful moment.
Well, how can you write that and not think people are gonna laugh?
Exactly.
It's so obviously like a rip off of 80s action tropes and stuff. Just does not work in a gothic horror film.
No. Like if The Innocents, which is a really subtle horror film, ended that way. She just fucking throws a grenade at the ghosts and it's fuck you, ghosts. It's just stupid.
See you in hell, ghosty.
Get away from here, you bitch. I don't know, but it was a wonderful moment. I did like it.
Yeah, and the other thing was the where Frenchie saves the priest. And that sort of adventure music sort of play. I don't know. It was so weird.
What hack filmmaker made this? Who made these decisions?
Oh god.
I mean, I found it wonderfully fascinating and slightly campy in a way, but that's what I liked about it. You know what I mean? It was fun. Yeah, it was good fun.
Yeah. But we can all agree: save your money, buy DVDs of Unfriended instead.
Oh, Unfriended. Yeah, is that the film where a ghost stalks Facebook?
Yeah, and it's all in cameras on a laptop and Facebook cameras. Yeah. So they've found a way to be even more derivative and cheap than Paranormal Activity.
We don't even do anything. We'll just set laptops up around the room and we don't need to pay for expensive cameras.
Even better though, because you don't even need to light the room entirely like you're doing. Because Paranormal Activity, like the camera's pretty far back. You have to light the whole room,
Oh yeah, it's hard. It's hard work. Lighting the whole room. It's effort. You just want to get back and drink some more of your coffee. So it's the effort. So I suppose the question we have to ask is, because we're all kind of vaguely positive towards the film, I suppose the question we have to ask is, can we gain anything vaguely interesting in terms of a religious angle? Because we picked this film purely because it was called The Nun.
Yeah.
And we were just like, I'm up in Leeds, let's go just watch it, we'll do it for the podcast. Can we peruse any interesting discussion? I think not.
Well, I find it interesting that it exists in a world where Jesus also exists.
Yeah, actually, that's true.
Yeah.
Jesus definitely exists in this film. His blood is the thing that saves Frenchie.
Exactly. Yeah.
The blood of Jesus Christ that was passed down. And...
Exactly, but apparently, it wasn't good enough. It wasn't good enough because Frenchie, in the end, he gets possessed.
The portrayal of the nunnery. I'll use that as the word for the convent. There's no interest there. It's not portrayed in any way that's at all interesting.
If you've seen The Exorcist, that film does it a million times better, basically.
You get a lot of Hail Marys in this. Because that's seemingly the only prayer that these guys know. Like, there's the actual Lord's Prayer right at the start, but then the rest of it is just Hail Mary in Latin. So
because audiences recognise that as being stereotypical, like that's a Roman Catholic nun thing to do. So we'll have them do that. On no level can we kind of get any kind of, I think, interesting discussion outside of our enjoyment of all different elements of the wonderful film. This wonderful hit film.
Yeah.
Which it's actually having a pretty, as I said, it's having a pretty big box office weekend. So
would we all go see The Nun too?
Why not?
I would say no.
I reckon that will be more derivative than this. As in, it will be more streamlined.
I would like to see the next horror film from that director, though.
Yes. Definitely. Yeah. Kind of break it away from the whole studio system thing. Him just being able to do what he wants. Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Is there any reason why the woman who's the main woman in this and all is like the daughter of the woman in the the Conjuring films? Because she's got the same last name, and I don't understand the reason behind that now.
I think it's just maybe just some sort of like through line with the just make you're like, oh, I kind of recognize her. She looks similar to the.
Yeah.
I don't know whether it's like sort of any sort of implication that that's like her mother or something like that or
no,
because
I didn't
like
think
at the
so,
end she's like, I'm completely in love with Jesus, man.
I'm not pumping out babies anytime soon.
Yeah, she turns down Frenchie, as I said in the thing.
Frenchie was cock-blocked
by Jesus.
Poor Frenchie just want to get his rocks off, but he couldn't.
I'd give Frenchie a go. You get it.
Well, as I said to you,
bad accent,
He resembles a cross between Timothy Chalamet and Armie Hammer. Armie Hammer, even.
What a wonderful man! What a wonderful man.
Would anyone recommend The Nun?
I look, as I said, paying £5 to see it, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
If you're paying full price, no. Like, just wait for it to come out on Netflix. Like,
yeah. This is the ultimate Netflix with some friends, some beers. Because if we were not at the cinema, would we have talked more throughout?
We would have had such a good time.
Oh yeah, it was a great show. Definitely.
Like we were being as polite as we possibly could in that, and Jesus Christ.
Because I was thinking in the back of my mind, I always think about that poor person who just genuinely wants to be there. Very massive fan of the Conjuring cinematic universe, and he can't wait to see who was this nun character. Like, what was she all about? I can't wait to see that film. Then you got a few assholes at the front who were just like ruining their precious time with their favourite movie franchise.
If this is someone's favourite franchise,
that is worrying.
They must have been beaten by life so much. This must just be like another humiliation on top of many. Like,
what is your favourite cinematic universe? The Conjuring cinematic universe, I'll have you know.
Well, seeing as the Dark Universe didn't get off the ground.
What is he's crying into his Dark Universe t-shirt?
Yeah. Someone wearing a t-shirt saying, "I've seen The Conjuring 20 times."
Yeah. And it's all like the print's all faded and stuff, and it's all crumbling off, and yeah. So I mean, yeah, if you've got a chance this weekend, probably in cinemas for a few more weeks. Yeah.
There's not much else on. And if you've not seen Black Klansman already, probably watch that first. But
if you had a choice, you'd probably want to go for Black Klansman. I've heard good things about Cold War as well. That's out this week.
That's not in the same cinemas as this.
No, probably not.
But, well, you know, there is the Ant-Man and the Wasp as well. You know, I derided it so harshly before. I don't actually know anything about it other than the title. And
how could you hate wacky Paul Rudd? You know,
I don't like Paul Rudd.
How can you hate him so much?
Okay.
No, I've got no strong opinions. I won't get into my opinions on the whole Ant-Man thing. I'll go on a massive tangent. So
anyway, let's round it up then. You do not recommend The Nun unless it's at £5.
Yeah, unless it's discounted.
Chris, would you recommend The Nun?
The Nun.
The Nun.
The Nun. Yeah. £5 was fine.
Yeah.
£5 was fine.
Yeah.
I'm Nun.
Yeah, don't see it alone. And it's by no means a good film, but it's an enjoyable one to see with people who are going to rip the shit out of it, basically.
If you like tearing apart people's good times at the cinemas, The Nun is the film for you.
Yeah, actually, I'm going to say we don't condone doing that.
No, God, no. Yeah, definitely not. No, far from it.
We didn't go in to the cinema with those intentions, but it just started. And it just went off the tracks very, very fucking quickly.
I mean, I'm the guy that gets annoyed at even like the slightest little tiny little rustle of something. Even that, I'm like, why'd you bring those to the cinema? Like, just get it quiet. You know what I mean? Some of it all melt in your mouth.
You've heard it here first. Chris hates midgets called Russell.
Exclusive expose. Damn, that's going to bite me in a few years.
But go in, bring your recording equipment, and make a commentary with your friends while it's playing.
No one's gonna hate that.
No, definitely
just shouting out all the way through, like, you know, things like, "What's happening here?" Like, "Why choose that canted angle, eh?"
Just excuse me while I get this sound equipment in right position. And, like,
how did that get in the shot? Oh, that's our recording equipment. That's our mic. Get it down. Oh, how we wacky.
No, those sound like cinema sins.
Bing!
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not a big fan of them.
I'm not a big fan of them either.
This has gone wildly off topic. Let's just end it now.
For a £5, check it out.
It's nonsense.